stopping and acting official and getting professional. We gonna lie. Stop that. Stop that.
Got to, got to, got to.
Hello, 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 everyone. It is Doc's Success Formula Solutions to Personal, Professional, and Relationship Puzzles. And you guys like best relationship puzzles. So we've been here for a little while, and we're going to stay here for a little while longer tonight. And so we have some guests. We're going to give them a chance just to get settled in. We have Janice and Carlos joining us tonight, guys. Newbies, they're going to be on with us tonight. And we're going to just do what we do and have this conversation. So you guys know how we always started off. We start off by introducing who these phenomenal people are, these phenomenal Black people are. So we're going to start with my home team, Miss Ronnie Rose.
Hi, I am Veronica Rose. I am your certified life purpose coach, who also have a clothing line, Significant Couture. And my background is in human resources, and I am from Daytona, like Dr. Melissa said. I am a Buck, go Bucks, and I'm a Gator, go Gators. Yay!
Really care.
Really,
Buck and Gators, really? That's where you go, Buck and Gators. You know I'm a sand crab and a rattler.
Wow.
yeah, we did it opposite.
Tell them a little bit about significant couture and the meaning of it.
Yeah, so Significant Couture is basically the clothing line is about bringing the culture to the kingdom. So I spell significant with the C and couture with a K. And you know, a lot of people think they have made it when they wear labels. So really, you see who everyone else is. I see you with Louis Vuitton. I see you with Gucci. I see you with this. But who are you? Like, you have to know that you're significant and not what you have on make you significant. You don't, you make the label does not make you. So that's what Significant Couture is about.
Yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it because I'm someone who doesn't have any labels. I've now, people say, "Oh, you look so cute." I say, "Ross, dress for less." That's my said. I'm definitely about to give me some significant couture, so I can say CK, not Calvin Klein. Significant couture, right?
Yeah.
Yes, love it, love it. Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
next lady, my other baby, Miss Monica Simone.
There you go.
I love
Hey
that.
everybody. I'm Simone, easiest version of my name. Um, and I am also a realtor with Premier Coast Realty. I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm always into this and that, usually somewhere around the cigar industry. You can typically find me. I'm always happy to be here. And I always think I have, even when I think I have nothing to say, you all give such good feedback, and so it always tends to bring out the words I didn't know I had waiting. So definitely look forward to all the participation.
So in other words, the men and the women just pull it up out to make you just like, oh, I just got to go deep. I got to just
Listen,
how deep I am.
that's it. I'm like, oh, but wait, I have a thought.
I got it. I got it. Okay. Mr. Martez Gerard Favis.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, Dr. Nolan Chester, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm excited about this panel tonight. I am an educator, I'm an author, I'm a recording artist. My current single is out and it's available on all digital platforms entitled My Stuff, featuring Carrie the Dreamer. And I have officially, and I haven't even told Dr. Chester this, I've officially been nominated for Male Vocalist of the Year by Gospel Choice Music Awards.
Hey, wow, congratulations.
I appreciate that. Voting will begin March the 10th. It's unlimited voting from March the 10th to March 31st. So I'll be sharing that information. I would love to have you all support.
That's right. You're going to have the whole Black Educators Rock family because, I'm putting all the groups, all of them.
Let's
And,
get it.
50,000 in one of them. So we're going to make sure that we win that. Congratulations, little
Thank
brother.
you, thank you, thank you.
So I'm going to come back to Jamise because I want you all to see her. So she's doing a little thing. We're going to bring her back. We're going to bring her back in. So we'll introduce her shortly. Dr. William, will you please, Hobbs, will you please introduce yourself?
Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. William Hobbs. I am an educator and a writer. My voice is not as low and impressive as Martez, but I'm going to keep talking anyway. I am presently rewriting a novel that I first wrote in my undergrad years. I'm really enjoying it. Looking to have it done by middle of March. And I'm also enjoying putting together this virtual book talk discussion for young Black males in particular, which helps them with success strategies, conflict resolution, dealing with racist microaggressions that are going on in this world. So yeah, that's what I'm up to these days, in addition to being department chair at Florida Memorial University of the Arts and Humanities Department.
Get it, department chair. That's my friend. Woo, woo. All right. I had to leave that. I left the academy. I left academia, but that's a whole nother story. But
well, you look so relaxed.
You handling it.
Mm-hmm.
Jamise, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jamise Zellers, and I'm not as exciting as the rest of you, but my husband's on here, Carlos Zellers, and it's nice to meet each and every one of you.
So Jamise and Carlos, we're gonna see if these husband and wives are they on the same wavelength, y'all. You know, we just had Valentine's Day. We're gonna be talking about this love is in the air, is it? And so we're gonna see what this married couple, you know, what if they're on the same wavelength, because we single and divorced and people, we just trying to figure, well, not we, but you know, the people. Let me stop playing.
All right.
Yeah, the. Carlos?
Yes, my name is Carlos Zellers. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Chester Nolan. Dr. Nolan Chester. I always get it wrong for some reason.
I know, and you grew up with me.
I know. I always get it wrong. But I've been in Daytona all my life. I graduated actually from Ashworth College recently with my high school diploma. I'm from the streets, basically, just to let you guys know. You know, I come from a hardcore set of values, and I just made good for myself. I work 2 jobs. I work in security department. I'm also over the maintenance and beautification department at Museum of Arts and Science, which is a very big deal because, you know, the white folk don't trust people with their keys like that. So that's it for me.
Well, guys, I am Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. I am a former college professor. So I used to do that thing called being a college professor. Did it for many a moons, FAMU, Florida State, University of North Florida, Grambling State University, and Southern New Hampshire University online before making the transition into real estate. Own story. I'm gonna write me a book about my life, William. I'm gonna tell him one day about the life of the little tomboy from Soul City Projects to Dr. Nolan Chester.
Please name it Dimplicious, please.
Just for you. And so now I'm in real estate, and I am a managing broker of a minority, Black-owned real estate brokerage. We have about 150 agents in Jacksonville, but we're also all throughout the state of Florida. We're also in Georgia and Alabama. And we also have a real estate school. So I teach real estate in addition to running my own national nonprofit, Black Educators Rock, where we support and encourage and provide professional development for Black educators and those teaching Black children. And so those are some of the hats that I wear. I'm a best-selling co-author, but Martez and William have motivated me. Dr. William have motivated me that I need to write my own book by myself. And so that is what I will be doing in 2021. So that's my next to-do list. So I'm excited about that. And so every now and again, we come on here and we talk, y'all. We just give y'all the real. And so this is one of those nights where we're going to be on here giving you all the real. And so, last week, Dr. William and Martez and some other men, guys, you guys did a phenomenal job sharing with us. Oh my gosh, you guys, the women were texting me, inboxing me like, oh my God, those guys were so mature and they were so receptive to everything that you had to say. So I'm going to keep to my word and just say, welcome, kings. Thank you again for allowing us to be in your presence. You know, there is nothing like being in the presence of a king, a Black king, of course. And so we are so thankful for everything that you guys put up with and that you deal with. And again, know that we are here supporting you. Some of us behind the scenes and some of us up in front, but we all are supporting you. And in any way that I can be of assistance to help you in anything that you have going on, do not hesitate to reach out. So Black women, you're supposed to do the same all this month. That was the pledge that we made last week, that every Black man that we see, we asked them first, how is he doing? And then they told us they needed to be affirmed. They needed to hear positive things from us. And that's something that we committed to doing to them, especially in the month of Black History Month. So hopefully you have been keeping true to your word. y'all been keeping true to your word, Ronnie Rose, Jamie, Simone?
I didn't know that was the word, but I do. But I have been keeping the word.
The word, Jamie, you been keeping the word. You been treating Carlos right.
Don't do me, William.
Jimmy, that's a smile. I don't hear no. Huh? What? Huh?
Wow. Difficulties all of a sudden. You see that Daytona? Technical difficulties all of a sudden.
Go Fisher. Ronnie Rose, I know you've been doing it. You always do it.
Yeah, I do it daily.
You do. You're good about it.
Yeah, I do it daily.
Yeah, she always uplifting her king, baby. She let all y'all know that she has a king and she appreciates her king. But, you know, make sure you let the brother kings know too. You gotta let your brother kings.
I let them know as well. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all been good. Y'all had a good week, Martez, Dr. William. Y'all had a good week.
Yeah, you know, staying swole, ducking COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did anybody get the vaccination? Has anybody had the vaccination?
I would think y'all would have the vaccination right now. Y'all rich.
My food right now.
You said what, Carlos?
I said, y'all rich. Y'all should have been had y'all vaccination by now.
I'm not getting it.
Vaccination is free.
They're watching out for the elderly and the rich first.
Really?
Well,
free.
I have decided to be at the end of the vaccination bus.
Yeah, I'm at the end of the line. I'm at the end of the line. I'm behind you.
No, I'm the end. No. I let you skip me. But I think, you know, I've talked to several of my friends that are in healthcare, and you know, I think because of their line of work, it makes sense because they're just inundated with it day in and day out, and I am just fortunate enough for that not to be my situation, and so I feel like I can wait for there to be some more testing and not feel like it's so financially driven.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so,
understood.
My parents have had it.
You know, the hubby is a pharmacist, so he's on the front lines. He's out here on these streets giving everybody these vaccinations. And so if anybody's in Jacksonville and you need the vaccination, you can come to, I think I can say this, Walmart on 103rd Street. He's giving those vaccinations. Those vaccinations are happening. So he up early in the morning, vaccinated.
They're not running you down in the street saying, "Doc, I heard y'all out here doing vaccinations."
You vaccinating people.
You got that up on you.
Wow.
Exactly.
I'm gonna wait. I ain't gonna lie.
Huh?
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, me and Simone, we right behind you.
Yeah, I need to see if people gonna grow like another eye underneath their elbow or something.
Yeah. That's the I think that's the downfall of this vaccination is that it felt very financially driven, and like it wasn't enough testing. And I know I'm not speaking for the Black community at large, but I will speak for the people that I know. That was a part of the major hesitancy in going and getting this, because it just felt like y'all are out here testing to get it right. And so, you know, the only way to fix it, you don't know what it you don't know enough about it. And the only way they can find out more and what it does is by testing. You know, they said, oh well, like anything else, it won't affect this person, and it never does until it does, right? Oh no, kids are fine. They don't have to wear their masks. They won't get COVID until they do. So, you know, I'm good to wait.
Yeah, we're all, yeah. So I guess we the waiting crew. So hey, it is what it is. Hey, okay. But all of you who are out there getting those vaccinations, we respect you and we're here for you. And we know some people are on the front lines and they don't have a choice but to get them.
Absolutely.
So, we're here supporting you.
And appreciate their service.
Yeah, because that's service. Yeah, that's service. Yeah, that's service. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And two, just giving, taking a minute just to give just prayers out to all of those, just really worldwide, but specifically, all those people in Texas that are trying to find like a little bit of warm. Because this looks like a movie scene from the world. It's what they've got going on is heart-wrenching, and prayers definitely goes out to all those people out there.
Yes, I heard some people still haven't had power for like over a week. It's ridiculous what's going on out there. Yeah.
They've been doing governmental shutdowns of power in order to try and preserve power. So that's, you just have to be thankful for as many problems as we have in Florida. You have to be thankful that right now that's not one of the things that we're having to suffer through.
So the pharmacist said you may need proof of being vaccinated to travel, and I think that he told me we were talking about. I think that's internationally. So those that I can't wait to get on my cruise, and they cheap right now. Yeah, they get that good vaccination before you get on anybody's ship. You get on anybody's plane. So some of y'all gonna be grounded for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you go and get the vaccination.
Yep. A lot of your resorts are doing on your departure, they're doing COVID tests.
Yep.
On your international departure.
I mean, I don't mind the test. I'm talking about the vaccination, but yeah.
Exactly. I think that is going to be one of the things that they attach it to get more people. Like I think that the kids are going to also have to be vaccinated come next school year. So I think that, and I think that they're going to vaccinate prisoners.
Well, when it comes to children, you can always religious beliefs how you can deny other vaccinations.
Right.
You deny that one as well. That's going to be interesting to watch it play out. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting show to watch. So can't wait to see how this plays out. Dr. Mark Abraham, you late to the party, but you to the party nonetheless. Let the good people know who you are. Y'all, I got Dr. William, I got Dr. Mark tonight.
All these doctors.
That's what was in there.
How we doing, family? I was watching the show and I got your text. I said, "Oh, am I supposed to be on that?" I apologize. I actually just came from last night. I'm a little jet lagged still. So y'all talk about vaccines. So they actually had to test me before I came back into the United States. But they promised. They said if you do have COVID, you get 12 days free at the hotel. So I was suspecting nobody was gonna have COVID after that test. That's just my own. So again, I'm thank you, Doc, for having me on. My name is Dr. Mark Abraham, and I'm president and CEO of MEA Consulting Services LLC. I'm a former high school principal in Buffalo, New York, and I have a book that will be coming out. And I want to be what you said you was a co-host on a co-author on a best-selling book.
Best-selling, yeah. We did a co-author, and I'm a 3-time best-selling co-author, but I want to be a best-selling author by myself.
Well, I want to be that too. That's my aspiration. So my book is called What Success Looks Like, and we're looking at strategies to increase graduation rates for young men of color. And as you know, young men of color, we're talking about our Black and brown boys have the lowest graduation rates in the country. And this has been going on for centuries. So I'm giving principals and superintendents practical strategies that are researched and tried. When I left my high school in New York, we had a cohort of about 83 boys, Black boys, and a graduation rate of 93%. So I'm giving principals practical strategies on how to do this work, since they act like they don't. Well, since we don't have no answers, so I decided to give them the answers.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Mark. She said the VP is pushing for all teachers to get the vaccination. She's in Georgia, and the governor has placed the teachers in Georgia on the 3rd rollout. So, yeah. So, again, teachers not now being asked to be on that front line. So, yeah. Well, we hit that COVID talk. We're going to move on. Hey, it's funny how it make you kind of like depressed. Like, it just kind of like make you like subdued. Like, yeah, so the COVID, so the vaccination. So let's get off the vaccination.
Has anybody had COVID? I had it. It ain't no joke.
You had it?
Mm-hmm.
You had it too, William?
It's a devil. I would advise nobody getting it. It don't feel good. It wasn't good for me.
I had it before I knew its name. It was like right before everybody had issues.
Mm-hmm.
I've had flu before and kept doing my thing, but it laid me out for like 3 days. Bunch of coughing. And then, like I said, after 3 days, because I stayed jacked up with vitamins and everything. I'm a health nut. So I think that had a lot to do with how quickly I bounced back.
Mm.
Yeah, that was definitely COVID that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm somebody, Ronnie Rose, that's covered by the blood. I've never even had the chicken pox. I've never had the flu, the pneumonia. I've never really been sick. You know, they always say, Dr. Mark, when you come from the hood, you either real sick or you real healthy. So I'm on the real healthy spectrum. My daughter's like, wow, you have a great immune system. I mean, yeah. Literally, yeah. I mean, my husband had it and I didn't even catch it I was in the house with him the whole time and I got tested 4 times and it was always negative. I just
Right.
See, you have the genetic structure of Tupac.
Don't say that too loud, they might want to come get me.
You're right. Right.
Be doing tests on me and stuff. But yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I know. Praise God. That is I know it. I'm thankful.
Yeah. Well, bless.
So moving on. So, you know, we're gonna talk a little bit about this love thing in a minute. We're gonna talk about life, and then we're gonna talk about this love thing. We're gonna talk about life first. Life. And because this is centered around, I think this is one of the things, Ronnie Rose, we never really talk about when we talk on the show, but I think it's something that we need to address. And you being a life purpose coach thing, guys, you know, often I'll say that the common denominator in relationships, right? And so I want everyone to kind of just talk about when they look at them. Why are you single? Why are you divorced? Not what you weren't getting from someone else, but you know, introspection, looking at, you know, the person in the mirror and talk about what are the things that you learned about you, you know, and just who you are as a person. And that you know, just those things that you learned about you and how you need to navigate, or someone needs to navigate those things, or what you're working on. But just talk about us for a change, not others, not the men, not the women, but us. And so anybody who wants to start, feel free to start.
I ain't gonna lie. I realized that because my parents had such a volatile relationship, I figured as long as there are not blue and red lights coming through my window, as long as they're not flat toasters thrown into flat screens, that I can manage whatever it is. It can't be that bad. So I had a very low, I don't know, expectations. I didn't realize I could or was supposed to be happy. I thought if I'm surviving this thing, if I'm paying these bills, that's supposed to be enough for a man. It's a woman and a child's job to be happy. I was always told that men, you know, your job is to pay bills, you know, that's happiness and stuff is for children or whatever. So I realized that I'm entitled to be happy too. And, just not, my job is more than trying to keep somebody from falling in a bad attitude or getting the latest PlayStation for the children. That's the main thing that I got and learned.
Anyone else?
One of the things I had to learn was what happy, to your point, William. I had to learn what was happy to me, because I'd seen different examples of happy at different times. I can remember and very clearly growing up and my parents splitting up when I was in the 5th grade, and them getting back together. And I remember me always thinking to myself, what was the point in you getting back together if you were still separate in the house? And so I took a lot of my perspective from that, but also from my family in general, how I saw people interacting and the games that I saw played. And from the male side, from the female side, I saw a lot of games. And so I think for myself and my cousins and I, we have this conversation frequently. It made me not so much distrustful, but it just wasn't something that I felt like I needed to get into. And then because I didn't do a lot of dating that high school to like 23, but then getting into my first real relationship, that ended up being an abusive relationship. And so surviving and coming out of that, it really made me stop and look at what are the things that I need to make me whole, and knowing that I didn't need to jump into something because that's what everybody else was doing. Everybody's in a relationship, so I need to be in a relationship. And I think mentally, I just got to the point where I knew what to do for me, and then I further got to a point, and it wasn't until I got in my 40s, honestly, that I said, you know what, I knew what happy was. And so when I saw what happy was and I saw what it did for me, I knew that was that person, not who made me happy, but who modeled my happy.
Anybody else?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me, doctor? Okay. So yes. So repeat what was the question? You said
just
what about
we were saying, it's about self. Yeah, just what introspection. There's just, looking at the person in the mirror, what did you learn about yourself, in relationships, in life that
Okay.
so those things. So she was talking about her happy, he was talking about modeling his happy, etc.
Well, with me personally, I recognized some years ago that I did not truly love myself. I looked the part. I thought I did, but it's a difference between happiness and joy. And I will be happy based on my circumstances. But when I really connected with my joy, meaning regardless of if things was going the way I wanted them to go, or, I realized that just spending time with me, that I had that joy. And I had to just be honest with myself. I had to be honest and say, you know what? You have low self-esteem. You're not confident. You are truly living a facade. So that's why I battle with depression, because to see me, you would think that I was happy. I had it together, but I realized that I was really doing it for society. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I was really not happy. And that's why self-love matters, right? So I didn't have joy, nor did I have happiness, because I was so busy trying to make everybody around me happy, right? Trying to please everybody, right? But I wasn't happy. And so to not have love for yourself, you cannot love other people properly. So when I start investing in me and was aware of self, and see, that's what people think. They think they have it twisted. They get self-awareness confused with selfishness. So I had to be able to say no. I always want to, appease other people. I want to please other people. So I always was pulled to the left, to the right, stretching myself. But in reality, if I don't want to go, I don't want to go. I don't have to support everybody, right? I don't have to necessarily be there to support you. I can support you in other ways, but I would feel like I have to be there. So when I recognized that I just did not have inner joy, I was not as confident as one would think. I realized that I just did not love myself, because if I did, I wouldn't have done half the things that I did do. That allowed me to be honest, and that set me free. You understand what I'm saying? So I just had to look in the mirror and be honest with self. So, once I was honest and I was set free, I was released from bondage. Then me doing was more genuine. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. I feel like I was doing only to make you happy, but I didn't really want to do it. Now when I do things, and now when I'm there, and now when I'm supportive, I'm doing it because I want to do it, because I had to learn how to love myself. So that's why I was able to become celibate. That's why I was able to not be in a relationship, because I always felt like I had to be up under somebody to get over somebody, and I never had time for myself. And so what am I saying? Are you bored with yourself, that you always have to be in some kind of relationship? Are you that unhappy with yourself? And guess what? Self, I'm just that unhappy with you. So I started working on me. And once I realized that, now self-love matters. I love me. And if people don't do what I want them to do, or if things don't go the way I want them to go, I no longer get offended. You understand? Because I have self-awareness. I really would place my happiness on other people. And so, and things, let me say that, and things, people and things. So if I didn't have a certain amount of money in my account, I'm not happy. If I don't have this, I'm not happy. You understand? But the outside didn't know that. I was tormenting myself. I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And that blow people mind, because they're like, what? I'm like, 3 times. Had them plotted it. You hear me? Had the daughter go to bed. I'm gonna go, and it's over. She good. Insurance 3 times. But God, I'm here. And that was recently. The 3rd time was like, since I've been here in Georgia, I've only been here for 15 years. So that was probably like 4 years ago. Wait, how old she is? No, that was probably 8 years ago. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's me just learning how to love me. That's why me and my king, we're long distance. But guess what? It's beautiful, because I know how to embrace me. We don't have to be up under each other. And that's what I used to think in a relationship, that I have to be up under somebody all the time. And what that said about me, I didn't have self-love. So that's just, yeah. I love me now, y'all.
Thank you, Ronnie Rose. Anybody else? They said thank you for that message. Also, somebody said thank you for that message. Anyone else? Carlos, you're on mute. Unmute yourself.
I like to chime in on what Veronica said. God bless you for making it through, your hard life and the suicide attempts and things like that. That's never a good thing when somebody has their mind in that type of bondage. I lost my sister in 2006 to suicide. She jumped off a bridge in Tennessee in Cumberland Lake. And I was at work, and an investigator gave me a call and told me that your sister was found floating in a river. And she went to get help the first time, and they turned her away. She tried to Baker Act herself, but when you try to Baker Act, you have to meet a criteria. She didn't meet that criteria. She left the hospital, and immediately she committed suicide. So that tragedy in itself, it really affected me. I also had two sisters that were put in foster care. My mom, she was an alcoholic. She lost both of my sisters, because of alcoholism. I was the only child that escaped that. So I was in school. I'm leading somewhere to this. I was in school, and what I found out was I was trying to make all these friends because of my family dynamics. I didn't have a very strong family dynamic. I was the only child at the time after I lost my sister. We didn't grow up together though. And I was just reaching out and making all these friends, going over across town, going on the west side, going on the south side. These type of things affect you as a child in your future relationships, and you don't realize it at the time. The being volatile or not being able to communicate without screaming and hollering, not having that father figure in your life to teach you how to be a man. I had to learn these things from uncles in the street. I had to learn these things from, a lot of women. Women can't teach you how to be a man, So I picked up a lot of mannerisms from my aunties and things of that nature. And then as I got older, I started getting around older gentlemen. And believe it or not, when I got incarcerated, that's when I started getting around, going into the church and learning how to communicate better. I had people that have been in there for very violent charges and they'll never get out. And he told me, they said, look here, young man, you can't keep blaming your upbringing for how you're acting now, because now you're a grown man. So now you have to start taking responsibilities for your own actions. And that was very hard for me to hear, because I'm a people pleaser, to know that you're the issue. This is my second marriage. I had some things to do with that marriage failing, but my wife now, she told me this. She said, you know what? We're not going to make it if you're not happy with yourself. I don't have all these, I don't have degrees. I don't have any of these things. Only thing I can be is myself. And she loves me for me. And that's what really made a change in my life, to know that I don't have to have all this extra stuff for someone to love me for me, So I would say this: anybody that's trying to get into a relationship, you first have to work on yourself, because two damaged people can't help each other.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I will say, I just want to congratulate everybody for opening up like that. That's real powerful to give up yourself like that. Can everybody hear me? I jumped off my phone. So that's really powerful to give up yourself. A few things I've learned is that, I can't conform to traditional roles in a relationship, right? Like, just because, she's the woman, I'm the man, that means she's supposed to cook and I'm supposed to just do this. The traditional roles that, is assigned, that we think about. Hey, the man just supposed to come home and bring the money, and we do all the outside work, and they do all the inside work, because that becomes a real stressor on the relationship. Another thing I don't know about if this anybody else was proclivity is that sex don't mean love or affection. Affection is affection, sex is sex. Some that don't always correlate to that's not a synonym. And the last thing, at least how I was growing up, I'm a Haitian man. I never seen I never seen a man be with one woman in my life until I came up to Buffalo, New York, and I met my former father-in-law, and he had 9 kids, and I was like, "So, how many baby daddies up in this joint?" And they was like, "No, just one." I was like, "What? That ain't even real, right?" So if there's any young men that's out there, men, we're not taught this. We're taught to, have sex with everybody, get a little bit of anything you can get, knock it down. That's how we show our manhood. The problem with that is every time you have a new sexual partner, and we're not taught this, it's like I see it as you have a glass, and every time you have a partner, it's like a fingerprint on that glass.
That's right,
and
that's right.
when you get into a relationship with one person, you try to be committed to that one person. In that sexual experience, you start to see that woman through those other sexual experiences, if that makes sense. And then so it's very difficult for a man who plays around a lot or has many sexual partners when they actually have to tone it all the way down in and say, okay, I love this woman, I'm committed to this woman, I'm gonna be with this one woman. How do you do that when you have, in a woman, you might just say, because you in love. That's how you do it. It just ain't that easy, So it's understanding that. I think that's some of the things. And then I'm ambitious, and I have to.
Oh man, he was getting good too.
I know.
Hey, yeah.
We'll come
You
back.
need to be listening to this right now. Where you at, Future? You heard what he said, Future?
Future, like the future of Future.
No, that raggedy rapper.
Oh, I don't know a lot. So that's a lesson.
Yeah,
We're gonna he'll be back. Go ahead. Anybody else? Denise, Nakia, Martez, you guys want to say anything on that one?
I can say, go ahead, Nakia.
What was the question? I came in the middle. What was the question?
So, so we'll let you go, Martez, and then she can think about her answer. But we were saying, we always on here talking about what men or what women, we're always pointing the finger, but I always say 3-point back at you. So in these relationships, in the relationships you have, be there friendship, relationship, romantic, what are things that you've learned about you? What are the things, we're looking at introspection. We're looking at the person in the mirror. And so people are just sharing those experiences. So Martez, so she has a minute to think about that.
Okay. So honestly, I can relate to what every single person has shared thus far personally, from seeing chaotic, traumatic interactions between men and women. I think in my family, we've had more divorces than marriages. So that was an example that I saw a lot of failure, a lot of brokenness, a lot of frustration, a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety, a lot of suppressed emotions, and not necessarily dealing with the root of the issue, but kind of glazing over it. So that type of dysfunction played a major role in me deciding to not put someone else through those kinds of experiences. So it was important for me to really work through my own trauma, to work through my own dysfunction before I bring another human into that. Oftentimes we don't, I know for me, it took me a long time to be able to value other people. I did not value other people because I didn't value myself. Like Veronica was saying, it took a lot for me to learn, and I'm still learning to love myself. I'm still learning to value myself. I'm still learning to put myself first because I allowed what I did not have to drive what I wanted. So happiness for me came through me making other people happy because then I felt needed. I felt valued. I felt validated. Oh, this person needs me to help them do this. Oh, this person needs me to come support them over here. Oh, this person needs me to show them how to do this. And that's where my happiness came from, because I really was not happy because I did not know what true happiness was because I did not see that example. And it took me separating myself. And of course, I love my family, but it took me getting around other people outside of my family who had different experiences, who had different perspectives, who had different opportunities to share that helped to expand my mindset, that helped to expand my capacity and to be able to increase my abilities to interact and engage with other human beings in a positive way, in an effective manner, to increase my communication skills. Because growing up, it was normal to yell and scream, and that's not the way to interact with people. That's not how healthy relationships work. So I had to learn that. So it took me many years, decades to get to this place. But I'm finally at a place where I can even consider, marriage or consider being in a long-term relationship. And I'm 34 years old, but it took me to getting to this point to really be able to understand myself enough to be able to understand someone else, if that makes sense.
Yes. Janice, and then Nakia.
I want to agree with what Martez said. I am still learning myself, but in learning myself and growing with other people, I was taught a while ago that you determine how other people treat you, and you can determine your day, you determine how things go because you control you, and you can't control other people. You control how you feel about what somebody did. Learning to accept that I play a part when someone's mistreating me because I allow it by making myself available for that mistreatment. So I'm learning myself every day. I learn from those lessons. I try to get my kids to learn from those lessons, but it's an everyday thing. I get something new, something different every day.
Thank you, Janice. Nakia.
To go off of what Mr. Martez just said about feeling like he's needed. In a relationship, I have decided I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. If someone needs you, they will keep you around for whatever personal thing that they have in mind versus wanting someone. Even in a relationship, I don't want to need a man. I want to want him. I want to want him for what he brings, the value that he adds to my life, the things that I like about him as an individual or as a man versus just needing a man, So that's one thing. And between relationships, I think it's important that as individuals, we take time to step back and evaluate what went wrong, what was good, what do we like, what do we not like about the situation that we were in versus going from one situation to the next situation. Because sometimes when we do that, we are what you may call asymptomatic. You have something going on and you don't even know that you're affected with it, and you take it from one situation to the next and you spread that hurt. We all have heard the saying, hurt people. So, you may go into a situation because you are not healed from the last situation and cause damage to something that could be so great. But because you have not healed or taken a chance to evaluate look at or analyze what went wrong and what part you took in that, because we all take part. It goes right and wrong in a relationship, and you ruin something moving forward. So I think that it is important as individuals that we do what I say is responsible dating, and not bring people into our mess. Because once again, sometimes when we don't know that we have been affected a certain type of way, we go from one situation to the next, hurting other people, and it's not a good thing. So that's one thing that I always do from relationship to relationship, or between situations, ships, or whatever people call them. Just step back and find out what was wrong. And as you get older, what was important to me in my 20s, in my late 30s aren't important. What I wanted in a man then and what I want, or I don't, it's not the same. Things that were important then, of course, now aren't the same thing. Just as you get older, how you're in different stages of life, your kids, or where you are with your career, or wherever the case may be. So I just think it's important as dating, responsible dater, to self-evaluate. And when you start dating, consider the other person's feelings is not just about you and what you want. You have to consider the situation going into.
Thank you, Nakia. And so, like Martez said, believe it or not, I can concur with everything that all of you all have said. Like most people don't most people don't know me. They don't know what type of upbringing I had, etc. But so I did have that volatile household. I have a mother my mama was the fire that you see in me, I know is a result of my mom. My mom she's me times 100. So, and she's a cursor. My mother can curse out the best of them. My stepdad was very, so I had a stepdad. Well, they were never married, but he was my stepdad. My mother and my stepdad were together I'm 47. How old am I? 47. They were together 40 years, 40 something years, and never been married. But he was like, she dominated him. She emasculated him. She had a tongue that could slice anybody. And my stepdad was just this quiet man that accepted that. And so, and so William knew that firestorm. He knew that firestorm at FAM. He saw the result of that. Was molested as a child, was molested by my mother's brother. And so, then there's that protective side of me, that very hardness, because, when the people closest to you violate you, you don't trust anyone. And so then I had that shell up. I had a domestic violent relationship up in Tallahassee. So, I've had all those experiences as well. And so I know who and what they've made me. And I always tell people, I'm as tough as I am because I know I'm super, super soft. I'm probably it's a very, very hard exterior. And Dr. William used to always, tease me, "Oh, you soft." I am very soft. That's why I'm very hard, because I'm not going to let many people penetrate because of how vulnerable that I knew that I was. Something else I realized about myself is that I don't need an antagonizer. I need someone who can assuage the situation, not continue to blow fire on it. I know the guy that the domestic violence relation was because he could not stop me. It was like he wanted to control and tame me, and it was bad. And so I know that I don't need an antagonizer. I need a man who has quiet strength. And so I know that, I don't need, I need an alpha male, but he can't be the alpha male where he's just obnoxious with it. And so, you start learning those things about yourself, and you understand, like you said, who you are. Me too, always doing everything for everybody, always trying to make sure everyone else has. And I think that comes from just being the oldest and having to support younger siblings while my mother worked and while my stepdad worked. My mother is actually in major depression, Carlos. My mother this is her third bout with depression. And this third time has been the worst, the absolute worst. She's been here for over 5 years. It's actually how I got in real estate, because many people don't realize that they knew we lived in a house, but most people thought we owned that house, Dr. William, and we rented that house. My mother rented a house for 27 years. And when the person died who owned that home and the children got the home, they didn't pay the property taxes. And I was up in Tallahassee teaching at FAMU. I was married, but I was commuting. And I was here in Jacksonville, but I was teaching in Tallahassee. She called me and she told me, and I said, "Mommy, ask them, can I pay the taxes?" And and we bought a house. And she's like, no, they said they don't want us getting involved. And, you know, she wouldn't listen to me. She would listen to them. Well, that home was sold for less than $12,000. My mother spent $189,000 in rent when I did the math. And when I thought about it, Veronica, I was up in Tallahassee for 15 years and I rented because I kept saying I'm not going to be here any longer. I got 3 degrees, and the whole time I was getting those degrees, I was renting. And I realized that everyone back at home, a lot of my family members, my friends, we're serial renters. And that is why I actually left academia, because I was in pedagogy. I had to leave FAMU because I could not keep the commute going. I did not want to go back to a predominantly white institution. I wanted to be at an HBCU. I was not going to be at Edward Waters College. And so I was at this cross path. I was like, what am I going to do? And someone was like, you should get in real estate. And I was like, I should get in real estate. And it was right when my mom was going through what she was going through. And so my passion is first-time homeowners. And so that's how I got in real estate. But it's like, how are you a PhD and you're in real estate? But it was because of my mother. My mother right now, Carlos, 2015, November, we moved her. November 2016, she got depression and she's still in it. My mother lost her job. She lost her rental home. She's depressed to this day. We've been on medication. We've tried prayer, we've tried church, but she's in major depression. This is her 3rd battle. And this one has been the most hellacious one. And so, so I deal with that going back. That's why I'm in Daytona, like coming home, checking on her, but people don't know your story. And so, to know me, a man has to know all those layers, be able to deal with all those layers, understand all those layers. I've always been the caregiver in my family. I'm the breadwinner. I've always taken care of my mom since I was in since I was in college. And so I just want a man that can take care of me. I want the person that allows me just to come home and be Melissa. That's something that I knew that I needed. I needed someone that let me put all the titles, everything that I have to hold. And I'm just the baby at the house. And that's what I learned about myself through my different relationships, is that I needed that.
That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Nikisha. She definitely needs all of you all's prayers, because anybody knew it, if they saw her now, they wouldn't believe that was my mother. My mother was a firestorm. Like, she was the life of the neighborhood. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I do as much as I do too, Carlos, because I do believe that an idle mind belongs to the devil.
Right.
Do so much. And I think I do so much because that's a fear of mine.
If you don't mind me asking, what do you think triggered this bout of depression?
The losing the home, when I had to move her from off of Lockhart Street, where we grew up at, over there to Derbyshire, to a new rental home. In her mind, she lost her house. She had been there 27 years. That was her house.
I got you.
On another side of town. My mother does not drive. And it's like her whole world was changed. And they call it situational depression. And she stopped participating in life.
Understood. I lost my mom and she was 49 years old. And when she passed away, she would have been, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think like 66 now. Because she died in 2003. And she never owned anything. And actually, my grandparents were actually my great-grandparents, believe it or not. So I was raised, believe that or not, by my great-grandparents. And that's crazy to me. And, we have this family lineage, not to get off the topic, but we have this thing in the family where you don't really know who's the uncle or the cousin. Because, down south in Daytona area, we call the elder cousins uncles and aunts and stuff. So that kind of confuses everybody. And it's just one of those things, man, where my mom, she never picked the right guys. And I'm witnessing this stuff. I witnessed my mom getting beat up. My mother had a cut from this ear all the way to this ear, across her throat. and I witnessed that. I was 6 years old when that happened. I don't know if you remember Miss Susie's. You remember Miss Susie's? You remember the apartments behind there where we used to call the Rat's Hole?
Yeah.
That's where my mom raised me some of my life. It was hell back there, man. It was rough. So when I was going to Campbell and putting on this facade and playing the sports and trying to, singing and dancing and just trying to get along, I was going through some stuff at the house. You know what I'm saying? I used to have to fight them South Street boys. And I think I got popular with everybody because they saw how small I was, but I was fighting. I was fighting. I wasn't gonna let nobody beat me down like that when I was going through hell at the house. You know what I mean? I was just tired of running from people. I stepped up my game. I got more violent. I figured out since I'm small, I'm getting jumped on by 2, 3, 4, 5 people at a time. I'm gonna step up my game. I'm gonna just start getting more violent. Then they thought I was crazy.
I gotta interrupt you. And I think that this, what we're doing is so powerful, but I think that this is one thing that is missed in our communities now because we don't talk to our children about these experiences. I agree. Especially us us middle class people, like we give our children everything, but we don't make them understand the struggle of what everything came from. And I think that is one of the reasons that we're having a lot of issues with our young Black men and women is because enough of us are not talking to them. We're allowing social media and, these people to give them the stories and to give them the narratives. But just think how powerful it is for us to talk to those that we grew up with about these things. Like we all grew up together, like the three of us grew up, but we didn't know the intricacies of each other's homes.
Right.
We didn't know the hell that each one of us was going through. And now that we're older and we can talk about it, it is our duty to share it. I mean, I do it here in Jacksonville, but I do need to come home and do it. I used to always say that I do so much in other places, but I need to start doing more where I'm from. And so we know that our city needs it. We know that Daytona needs it. Definitely. Great. And so we got Nikisha. I know you my events person, but we got to put together some type of community forum. We got to put together something for the youth to where we're in Daytona because it's so needed in Daytona. And it's needed all across this country, but we got to start doing it. I think that's why I love Black Educators Rock, because we understand what our duty is to those Black babies that are in those schools, because we understand, we all experience it. And it's just, we have a lot of people teaching our children who hate them.
That's true.
And we got to start doing better with that. And so that's something I'm want to commit to in 2021 is us doing, even if it's just a Zoom thing. Dr. William, we may have to start your thing where we're doing that monthly, but we got to start doing more, being more active for our youth. I know that's like kind of off topic, but when you were talking, it just made me think about how we share that enough with our children.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doc. I didn't mean to get off the.
That's actually. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that was Dr. William. Oh, I was gonna say actually that's not off subject, Dr. Melissa. That's on subject because it started at home, and a lot of parents, we're not transparent with our children because we're ashamed of our past. And that's how the generational curses continue. I'm very transparent with my daughter. I am. We have a great dialect. I don't keep whatever. It's now certain things. I don't think at a certain age, right. It's appropriate. I will wait to tell her, but I will tell her when she asks me certain questions. I'm very transparent. And, I just want her to, just like in human resources, you have an open door policy. At my house, I have an open door policy. I don't just tell her not to do things. I tell her and I show her why she shouldn't do things. And if I see she's struggling with something that I once struggled with, I'm honest and transparent with her. You understand? It's like once we get older, we clean up our lives. We want to keep that past hidden.
Mhm,
But if you
mhm.
see that your child is struggling with the exact same thing you struggle with, then you have to be transparent, be open with them so they can really truly understand that you've been there and you're not in this thing alone. And that's where depression comes from. That's where you lack self-love come from. Because when you as a parent are not honest with your kids and can't say, hey, I struggle with that too. Instead of acting as if now you done repented and gave your life to Christ, and you just
You
you
hold it
ain't
at
do
the
no
top. Now
wrong.
you ain't
And
never
that's
do
what a lot
nothing.
of
You was
parents
always
You're
right.
above it all.
Always doing
do.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta say that's one.
So what you're saying, what we need to do lines up with the individual, because you have to love you first before you can love anybody properly.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
I gotta say that is one of that and humor is one of the things that helps me as far as speaking to kids. Because here's Dr. Hawk. What are you gonna tell me? I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to high schools and it's a panel, and the person next to me is somebody who was in prison. You can hear a pin drop. They gotta hear what he got to say. And then he a cornball, he whatever the case is. I gotta go up there. Yep. I got this. Yep. I fell in love 3 times a week. I ain't get nobody. I got my butt beat. The whole 9 yards. And it's like, okay, yeah, he's supposed to be cornballish, but what he's saying makes sense. One of the kids after I spoke, he just looked at me. He was like, how did you get there? I'm like, what are you talking about? Your age. Most of the men in my family don't reach 50. What did you do? And I remember I used to say stuff like that when I was getting my hair cut in this old school barbershop. The old man was over there playing checkers and chess. And I'm like, how did you get there? Because my friends are dying right now in high school. How you do that? And they would sit there and laugh or whatever the case is. They wouldn't really give me, some of the hard lessons they learned. But yes, all of that. My youngest, he's 15, dealing with a cyberbullying situation where the bully goaded him to fight him out in the park. This boy videotaped the doggone thing. And I'm like,
doing?
Huh?
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's it.
And he showed me. Luckily, he did the little something. But now the boy contacted one of my son's friends, talking about go to his apartment and tell him to come outside. I'm gonna be right behind you. I'm like, no, no. This is over with right here. I walked right up to the boy with my son right next to me, and I'm like, this isn't happening. And my son asked me, how'd you do that? What you talking about? You walked in a straight line. You didn't stutter. You didn't such and such and such. Because I got my butt beat many a time. It took something to get to this point. Not only that, but you, my son, I didn't even think about what's gonna happen to me. I ain't having nothing happen to you. Maybe that's where the courage come from. I don't know, but that is not happening. You know. And he stood there and he think about it. And I'm like, okay, there's different things you need to watch in people. All right. He didn't say anything. He looked to the person next to him. All of them looked to the person, whoever that person was in that car. That's the leader. That's the leader. He is trying to impress the leader. Oh, okay. Even his language, I'm working with him. This dude said, well, my son said, what happened was he has a beef with me because he thinks I'm gay. Well, what are you talking about? Well, there was a scandal because I was friends with a gay scandal. Scandal? Did a soap opera raise you? What, boy? You don't use no moist ass.
But no, Dr. William, because of that's and when I tell you, I talk to so many upper middle class. It's our fault. We've done this to these children, and then now we're looking at the results. And like some of my dentist friends, my pharmacy, my doctor, and they're like, "Oh my God, these kids are so like they're soft. They're so they're easily broken. They're this or that." But we did it. It's just here, and it's trying to compensate for everything that we did not have.
Yeah, well,
that is true.
Like I said, I'm trying to get him to understand. Okay, not to be all macho or whatever, but there's a certain kind of language that men use. There's a certain kind of language that women use. If you all over the place, you're gonna get all kinds of smoke and static from people trying to test you. kids are 15 years old. They're trying to show out and flex.
Ain't y'all down south? It's rough down south. Jesus.
part.
Lord.
That
Y'all down south. Yeah, you
So-
gotta have your game face on at all times.
Yeah. So after all of that, I spent the rest of the night telling him all the times I got my tail kicked, I got punked, I ran away from a fight. I'm like, this, I didn't just wake up like this.
Right. And that's, you do have to have those conversations. We do, we gotta do, like, it does first start in your own home, but then we also need to take it out to these communities, because to Carlos's point, not like we didn't have father figures. We didn't have, a lot of us didn't have those father figures. So if you know that you were lacking that, now you're doing it with your children, but then you know
Right.
there's a whole neighborhood that doesn't have it, right? You're one, and then there's 15 that doesn't, and so you have to be that extended village. We have to get back to that it takes a village mentality. We lost it, and I understand why we lost it, but we have to find a way to get it back. We really do. That's the only way that we're going to get to the greatness, and we're going to get to the spaces and places that we as Black folks need to be. And so
That's why I'm looking to work with you and Dr. Abraham.
yeah, we're gonna get it done. Now, Black Educators Raw, we got some phenomenal things going, and we got to get y'all in there. You and Dr. Mark got to come on and join the team. We do some phenomenal work, right, Martez? Y'all come to one conference, you'll never ever stop.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So moving on. Sorry guys, we digress. When we think about our babies, those babies, we got to get those babies. So I'm going to go into relationships now, because we all talked about, we understand, the crux of us. We understand who we are, what we need, what are our triggers, we understand those things about ourselves. And so, we have the married couple on here, and I'm going to let them talk first. How did you two, I guess, come to that understanding of, we're going to, because, we have divorce, we have singles, we have, different types of relationships in here. So I'm just wondering, how did you all make it work? What was, so you say you've been together 6 years, right, Carlos?
I had that wrong. It was 8.
8
Because
years.
it's easy. The only thing I have to do is think about my son. He's 8 years old. So we got married in 2012. So it's been 8 years.
Okay. And so dating and straight to marriage, or how did your relationship?
Okay. So you ready for this one?
Oh, no. Jamise, I ain't gonna make him tell it. What Jamise said, because I don't want to mad at me. No, don't tell me. No. Tell me this. How are you guys making a relationship work?
How we making a relationship work is a lot of compromising.
There I
A
go.
lot
Okay.
of compromising.
A lot of
there she is. Uh-oh.
Okay. There we go. Get back. Come back. Come back.
So a lot of compromising, he said, Jamise. That's how you're making it work.
I think we make it work because it's true love. It's real love. If it wasn't, I mean, things could change at any moment, but it's true love. And the fact that I really love him and he really loves me is what make us, keep starting over and keep trying and keep, he'll ask me, well, what can I do? And I'll ask him the same thing. And it is give and take. It's compromise, like you said too. It's compromise, but it's a lot of love. A lot of love.
So how do you get to that point of a lot of love? Like how did you know that there was a lot of love? How did you know that, because there were things that, like you said, how do you know, what was that feeling like for you all?
You want to answer that?
Me and Carlos met when we were 18 years old. And I met Carlos on the city bus, he was bothering everybody. And I just knew he was going to come bother me. Okay. And it was a mutual attraction at that point. But for whatever reason, I don't think God thought we were ready. And after we broke up when we were 18 years old, I've been through a lot of relationships then. Some that I was in by myself, some that just didn't go good. But God set me up to go through those experiences so that I knew when a good man came along exactly what he looked like. And Carlos was just that, except he could have been a little taller because I did put that in the request. But outside of that, he's everything that I ever wanted. And believe it or not, Carlos has been by me, it seems like all my life, but we didn't know each other until we were 18. We went to the same nursery. When he said he lived in that housing with his mother, I actually lived on the street behind him. We did some summer programs on Campbell Street together as little kids, but we didn't know each other. But it's like he's been there all my life.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing, Jamise and Carlos. So a lot of compromising, they said, guys, and you got to know that it's real. You got to know that it's love. So then we have the two engaged people. So we're going married, then we're going engaged, and we'll come to the single people. So we have two that will soon be betrothed. Miss Mariah and Miss Simone, they're both engaged. Neither's married, but both are engaged. And so talk to me a little bit, Ronnie and Simone, about, you know, how did you get to the point to say, okay, because this is both of you all's first marriage. And so, and you both are in your 40s. Because we're all the same, around the same, we're all in our upper 40s. And so talk a little bit about, you know, where you are, how did you know, what are, you know, expectations, etc. Off of mute, Ronnie. There you go.
Simone can go first. Simone can go first.
Ooh, such technical difficulty.
Hey, unmute you. Say, unmute you. There you go.
There it is. I think you were unmuting and I was unmuting at the same time. You know, that's such a layered question for me. You know, it took, like I said, through a lot of experiences and honestly, even just listening through the call, I think that there's I think I still have some growth in some areas, and I was thinking, oh, you know what, I should maybe think about going back and resolving some things through counseling. But I think, you know, the biggest thing for me is like is communication. I think he's that person for me where I'm always super excited for all of his accomplishments because they make me excited. I'm like, in some respects, like a parent. So like what you do reflects on me. So when you do good, I'm like, good job. And he's, you know, and likewise. And so we definitely push each other. But I know that I always say I'm an Aquarius Pisces. So I always say, you know, for myself, I do this a lot, you know. I can be a procrastinator. And so he balances, Doc, you know that. I got to take this 45-hour class. I registered for it last week, but I'm like, I still need to take it. Because somebody not teaching the class, but I'm no shade. But you know, I think he really balances me out. And I think his struggle with me right now is I keep changing the wedding date. But it's because I'm also struggling in my own head with balancing what I want it to look like and knowing it's also not about what it looks like, but balancing back again with, well, I'm 46. Yeah, I'm 46. I'm 46. And so I haven't done this or that. So it should look like what I want it to look like. And so just, you know, kind of meeting all of those personal struggles. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, it is it's a lot of communication, and it's knowing that it really doesn't stop at I will and I do, and that we grow daily, because it's some days I don't like you, but it's some days he don't like me, and I'm okay. You know, we acknowledge that, and it's like, house is big enough. You go in your space, I go in my space. But let's not go to bed upset, and then also just really determining how important is your mad. Like, how big is your mad? Is your mad big enough that you want to be without that person? And so it's never that big. And so just being grounded in that.
Okay. And the one thing I know about your relationship is that you guys are friends too. It's something very important.
We're friends. Yeah. Like, I may not like you.
A lot of people aren't friends. They're not friends.
Yeah.
You know, but that's one thing I've seen with you all, that you are true friends.
Yeah, and I think that's and that's really important, is having that foundation, because even on the days that I might not like you in love, I always love you as my friend.
Okay, thank you. Ronnie Rose.
So yes, with me, it's getting out of my own way. So he's very patient. Because I have been single, and
She'll come back. I don't know what kind of disservice y'all be having. Let's see.
It happens. I'm not gonna lie. I'm impressed by the couple that's married 8 years, and I know Dr. Nolan, Dr. Melissa, you've been married for a long time.
Not a long time. 10 years.
That's a long time. That's a long time. You know, it's the only commitment we ask for a lifetime commitment without any reevaluating the situation. It's tough. You know, I made 2 lifetime commitments, and they didn't work out for both. So marriage scares me.
Well, you've been married twice?
Yeah, marriage scares me.
My best friend is on her 3rd marriage, and she said this is the one. She said, you know what, 3rd time's a charm. You know, she's done it twice. She says, you know, I got an uncle-in-law, he's been married 5 times.
I don't want to be like this. It's hard. The first time you get married, get divorced, you can blame the other person. The second time, they looking at you like, if you do it the 3rd time and fail, you the problem. You the common denominator, messing up everybody's lives. I'm a great boyfriend. I don't know about a husband, but I think I'm that boyfriend piece. I'm a beast at that. To get the husband piece, it just get a little weird, William. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm afraid of marriage. I done got my heart broken twice.
I was going to you must have known I was going to y'all divorce stage next. You and Dr. Williams. So you said you're afraid of marriage. I think there are a lot of men who are that. Like, after they've done it once, I think they're gun shy. They're like, and like you said, you actually did it twice.
No, yeah, because what they don't see is when we got to get halted down to courtroom, we ain't never done nothing illegal in our lives, and we got to sit in front of a judge. They separating your finances. They telling you what you got to do with your money. It costs $5.50 to get married just to get the certificate. It costs hundreds of thousands to get out of that joker. So, you know, I'm afraid. Hey, Martez, you ain't never been married before. I'm afraid of it, King. So I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't afraid of a lot of things. I'm a big man, but that right there make me nervous. Them judges and them lawyers, they get me some type of nervous. So, you know, it got my heart, got a little palpitated just not even thinking. My palms get sweaty thinking about it. So marriage get me nervous, man. So well, you know what I'm talking about. It's only when you've been through it. You ready to
talk next? He's up right after you. Okay, so nervous. Okay, so scared, fear,
trepidation.
William.
I haven't been married for 20 years. 20 years.
20 years, Ronnie. We're gonna let Dr. Will talk, and we're gonna come back to you. You were married 20 years?
That's fine.
I was.
Wow.
Straight out of fam.
Yeah.
Straight out of fam. Like I said, if I didn't recognize that I have a right to be happy too, I'd still be in it. Yeah. And the biggest people that I thought about was my children. I wanted so desperately to right the wrongs of my childhood that when I knew that I was having a son, I named him William. He is the fourth. Then my next child, I said I needed to be a son. It was a son. I named him Brian, which was my brother's name. My brother disappeared like 26 years ago. We never found him. I'm sure he's passed. And that messed up my mama's head. You talking about depression? She still ain't right. The worst time to see us during the holidays, as you can imagine. My dad, he's a shell of himself, straight up. So with that, I'm like, you know what? Even though I didn't get the right childhood, I'm going to give somebody what I should have had. So when I had a William and a Brian, I was willing to go through hell through marriage to make sure they got what I didn't get. But in doing that, I don't know, man. In doing that, I dealt with a lot of things, not saying I'm perfect, but on me, it's my fault. I dealt with a lot of things that I shouldn't have. I realized that I did not communicate as well as I should have. You think about 19, 18 years or whatever, you know this person. What new do you have to learn? You know, we've been in this long, everybody patting us on the back and everybody else is divorced and you the last one standing on the block. Both of y'all are doctors. Ooh, it's like a Cosby thing, right? So all of these people start looking to you as, oh, well, how do y'all do it? But you going through hell. But now you got this image, right? Not only you work married 20 years, but you're both successful, your children are smart or whatever. You got this image that you're trying to hold on to that helps you in your career, that helps you socially and everything else. Let me just see if I can deal with all of this on the back end because it just really looked good everywhere else. And I couldn't do it. And my sons were looking at me like, you know, we know how this works. We've seen the R&B songs. You start begging. Even if it is not your fault, Dad, you're the man. It's your fault. That's how it works. And I'm like, it takes two, man. It takes two. That's the best I can tell you. It takes two. And then to make it more interesting, both my ex-wife and I still work at the same university. So the divorce and all of that went down. Yeah. You literally see two camps of people at work that won't speak to you because they think you did X, Y, Z. And that means I'm getting it at home. I'm getting it at work. Man, let me tell you. So one thing I said when I got out, I don't want no parts or no kind of ring. The only ring I want to see is around a toilet bowl. Man, woo!
You said around a toilet bowl, so you another one that's gun shy. You another one that said no.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Now I dated, and someone I knew for like over 8 years or whatever. You know, she was giving me some advice. You know, you need to go to counseling and make sure you're serious. Make sure this is what you want to do. And after a couple years went by, I told her I was going to a conference in California where she lived. And she was like, how long you been divorced? You know, about 2 years. You need to come see me. Okay. I did. And we have been together almost 4 years now. Yeah, she has been married twice. So she's like, man, if we do this here, we getting up in the Richard Pryor marriage numbers. We need this thing need to be this thing need to be right.
But you've only been married once.
Yes, but I'm adding them all together, doggone it. Still.
She's been married twice.
Right. So, like for instance.
So you will be her third time's a charm. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, but I got a question, William. I don't mean to cut you up. Why just be on the other side? Why do it?
Let me tell you, I like being married, if that makes any sense. Only reason why I really like dating is because it keeps the woman on her toes. Don't show your behind out too much now. Well, hey, we ain't got nothing in paper. We're nothing on paper now. Pew, let me know, right? That's one of the things I didn't like about the past relationship, because they figure, okay, well, you got so much invested in this image of us being, this many years in, and we're both, you're not gonna, that. But this situation, because we've been together for 4 years, and I'm like, okay, now by this time I've seen the worst. You gotta be fatigued. You can't be at your best all the doggone time. You can't be sexy all the time. I've met your parents. I've seen the worst of your kids. I can hang. Hey, I can hang. So when I was first married, I dated her for 3 months, and then she was pregnant. So then, y'all know what that sound is. Wedding. So I basically married somebody I did not know. So all of those habits, or whatever the case is, I found out after we were already locked into it. There wasn't no negotiating or whatever. She was as young as I was, and but now both of us, we've been through quite a few things. As a matter of fact, we're going through marriage counseling right now, just dating. So when we get to that, we already know what's going to be what's going to be what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ronnie Rose, you got disconnected. We're gonna go to Nakia and Gerard Martez next. There's the single people, so we're gonna let you go. That engagement. So go ahead and talk to us. And I know you got cut off. So,
girl, yes, my computer died. My bad. So yes, what I was saying, it's his patience, because I stand in my own way. Being strong-headed, meaning, in my head, I guess I would say I thought like a man. I have options. So when I'm done with one relationship, I'd be like, I can move on to the next one, right? Like, so I had that same mentality somewhat, just while we were dating. And so I too went through therapy. I had my own individual therapy. I was going through therapy while we were dating, just trying to, figure me out, build that self-love. You understand what I'm saying? I had I love myself, but I still had some things I had to figure out. So, so with that being said, he was so patient. So, when I would go off on about absolutely nothing, he was so patient with me. And he seen that I pretty much that was my defense. So I was, that was my defense. And he recognized that. He recognized that. And so I'm a communicator, and he has patience. So women and men, we communicate different, right? So to me, with him, and I noticed with a lot of other men are visuals, and women, we're talkers, right? And so I would want to talk him to death, and he already didn't visualize how, you understand? Like, I'm trying to talk him to death, and he didn't already, he like just, get to the point, say what you need to say. Oh, and I want to keep talking and keep revisiting, but he was actually patient with me, and I was thankful for that. And then he respected the fact that I'm a communicator. So because he has patience and I'm a communicator, he was able to then communicate to me about some things that I need to work on. And I like that because, like I said, normally I just be like, on to the next one. I'm not trying to really hear that. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, you don't like me? Well, it's somebody out there who, that part. And he was like, every time I would go there, he was like, I'm not going nowhere because I see past the surface. See, he's seen that I got scared. I'm gonna be honest. Let me just be transparent again. I was scared. I was scared. I was like, I'm an overthinker. So I want this to be perfect. I don't want a divorce. You know what I'm saying? I want us to be together to one of us die. And I was actually scared of commitment, meaning this is a real life commitment. I can't just up and say, oh, I'm going to once we get married, because we're not living together right now. You know, we don't want to shack, to each his own, but that's just something we don't want to do. And I can't just say when we get married, oh, I'm about to go to my place. Well, once we get married, my place is his place, right? So I was actually scared of commitment. So I was doing whatever it took to kind of sabotage it. And he seen that. He saw it. And he knew it. And it didn't run him away. And I was trying to run him away. That makes sense. But it's because he was so patient with me and he understood me and he got to know me. And so that's the basis of the balance. He's a patient person. He's more patient than me. Let me say that. And I'm a communicator, but I'm a runner and he's not. I run, he don't run. You understand? And he won't allow me to run, but he'll give me my space. And that's the beauty of the relationship, because I probably broke up with him about 50 times. He'll be my king at 9 a.m. and I'm like, I'm done with you at 10 p.m. And then I'll be on the phone at 10:30 p.m. talking about, I love you. Just crazy, child. Just crazy.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Ronnie Rose, for your transparency, Mama. Thank you. Yeah. We have to have these real conversations. Nikia, you up next. Single woman, single mama. Talk to us.
Okay, so I am recently out of a 4-year relationship. Single mama, like she said. I have a 2-year-old son from that relationship. I have a 13-year-old son from a previous relationship. And right now I'm just learning how to be single again and enjoying being single. I'm not in a rush to jump back into a relationship. It was a crazy 4-year relationship, something that I thought would have led to marriage, but I wasn't ready in that season. And I refused to marry just to say I was married, because I did not want to end up in divorce. So that was not an option for me. So I decided to wait. And the relationship I ended up calling the relationship off. And since then, he's gotten married because he wanted to be married. But that wasn't enough for me just to say I'm married. I needed to make sure when I came home every night, I didn't want to be the people that drive around the block 5 times, sit in the driveway. Should I go in? That wasn't going to be me. I work hard. When I come home, I need peace in my home. And then I had a 13-year-old son who I had to set an example for. So, I mean, it don't have to be perfect, but it had to be worth it. So that was not an option for me. So, but right now, just enjoying being single. It is a little scary. The options are, they look crazy. It's a little different outlook. But not in a rush. Not in a rush. I'm letting God do it this time. Without, from the beginning, like I said in the previous relationship, until I had that peace, I knew that I would not do it. You do get why you not married? And it's more than just that outside. And the industry that I've worked in, I've worked in the beauty industry for 23 years. And the stories that you hear at that table from married women and married men, and it can get scary, just hearing both sides. I understand there's a compromise. And like I said, things I thought was okay when I was younger at 39, that is not what I'm looking for. And at this point, it's like, you know how you wait so long to do something. So whenever I do it, I'm going to do it. That's where I'm at now. So if I'm going to do it at 39 or later, it's going to have to, once again, not perfect, but just worth it. So enjoying being single, being mama right now, doing this pandemic, not in a rush. Where do you meet somebody and you sure can't come over and we're not going to meet, and being up close and physical is not an option. So, you know, so it's just, I'm enjoying being single. I'm absolutely in no rush at all. And I mean, even for, I don't know who on here is single, Martez is single. I don't even know where you would meet somebody whenever you do start. I have several off limits. I won't meet anybody at church. I don't club. And if I did club, I can't meet you at the club. So, you know, I don't even know where you would meet somebody moving forward, but I'm not in a rush. So as I told my pastor, I need God to just slide me a sheet of paper. This him. You're gonna meet him at this corner at this time. He's gonna have on this outfit, but real detailed and specific. But enjoying being single.
Yeah, Marcel, not Martez. Marcel said the dating sites is where they beating them at now. I know, you know, that's what Marcel, not Martez. But Martez, your turn.
I don't even know what to say after listening to everybody.
No story,
I can definitely tell you I have learned a lot tonight. And it's funny because I was talking to one of my frat brothers before we got on here, and he was sharing how in love he is currently with his girlfriend, and how he never thought that he would meet a woman who actually sees him. So we were having that conversation, and I thought that was very, very interesting, because it's important, especially for me, to have we use the word partner often, but to really have that significant other who is that partner, who really is able to help support, who's there to really push and cheer. Because I do a lot of things, like I'm involved in a lot of different things. I have a lot of different ways that I make money. So I need support. Like, that's something that I've realized, because for so long I've tried to do everything by myself, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I cannot do all of this stuff. And it just, that's really what I'm looking for at this point. And it is hard to find that, because for so long it's been what I can do for you. It's been what I have to offer, what I have to bring to the table, and you ain't bringing nothing. So I really need, at this point in my life, I don't care how fine you are, I don't care how pretty you are, like, none of that matters anymore. When I was in my 20s, that was a big thing. But now I turned 35 this year, and it's like, hey, I need that partner. I need that. Sometimes I need an affirmation. Sometimes I need a pat on the back, and not, oh, what you gonna buy me? Where we going? What we eating? What we doing? So that's almost like a child to me. That's like me taking on a father role. And we were having this conversation also about women calling men daddy.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it.
It's that type of thing. I'm over that. Like, I don't want to be a daddy. I don't. I mean, I don't have any kids yet. So I mean, I want to be able to have fun. I want to be able to enjoy, but I also want to be able to work and grow and build together. I want to have an empire. I don't want it to be a one-sided type situation. And that's what my experience has been. So yeah.
Can I jump in? Can I just say something, Martin? I think that's beautiful. And I think that's important. I would just also say, for me, looks are important for me. So please
Hey,
take care of yourself because I got to keep my eye.
hold on.
I did not say that they weren't important. It's not the most important thing.
I ain't saying the most. I'm just saying it's important. I just said for me it's important. I ain't saying it's the most. I'm just saying you gotta keep my eye.
Let me tell
There's
you,
some
my
broken
girl.
wives out here and they ain't got nothing to them. I used to tell my
I
baby,
would rather you be
you
intelligent,
get the dime a dozen.
decent, than be
I
bad and crazy.
got both. My girl is sharp and she ugly face fine. That like when men see her, they're so fine they make her ugly. Like, yeah, that's you, bro. Yeah. All right.
Hey, William, they do this. They do this. You got your winner there.
All right, that makes sense. All right, bro. I see. That makes sense.
Yeah, you honest, Dr. Mark.
I got to be honest. My last name Abraham, so it's honest Abraham.
He got biblical on y'all.
Zaddy. If you have money, they call you Zaddy. I never heard it. I never heard it.
That's the new one. That's
true. That's very true.
Yeah, when you're a professor, you hear all the latest.
I used to, when I was at FAM, when I was teaching, I used to be in the know. Now I'll be like, I'm so out of the loop. Like, what they doing? What they say? I'm so lost, Nakia. I'd be so sad that I'm not at FAM or you and ever in there because they used to keep me on game, and I am so not up on game anymore.
The wigs, I saw them coming weeks ahead of time.
See, I'm saying, I'm like, dang, I don't know nothing, but okay, so daddy, zaddy, okay, don't like those terms. Listen, I appreciate you all coming from your hearts for those heartfelt answers. I so appreciate the friends that I have that are so authentic. Like they're not, this is not, nobody's performing and putting on. There was a question, I know she thought I forgot about it, but there was Tracy wanted to ask the men a question, and she said, and I don't know, this was I don't know. I said, well, Tracy, this would sound like a personal question. Let me see if I can find it. She said, would you date a woman that dated someone you know, but not currently friends with, and you had no contact with for say like 24 years ago? It was so specific. Well, like 24 years ago.
If you dated somebody 24 years ago, I'd have been 10. So I
that don't mean nothing.
Hey, whoever she was with, Martez, that was a zaddy.
Yeah, that's like kid stuff. That's kid stuff.
They said that's kid stuff, Teresa. You hitting in front of men. That's 4 different men. They said no, they don't know about that one.
Yeah, I would. Unless it's I don't even know. But my homeboy, like my main man, is kind of hard.
You're not even friends with him anymore. She said you're not currently friends with and have no contact with.
Oh, that don't matter. That don't matter at all.
Yeah. Well, the more I dislike them, the better.
Carlos, you about to say something to that too?
Listen, I think my wife took off on that one.
That's something. Ain't that something?
Say, ding ding. Oh, I'll be right back. Well, Tracy asked me to ask y'all that. And Tracy, you heard the fella say that's little boy stuff. They said, no, 24. Martez said he was 10, 24 years ago.
Yes.
Hell, if I don't talk to him 24 days, it don't matter. I mean, what we talking about right now? Who cares? Everybody got a pass.
Hey, because he's rough in these streets, and we all have a pass. Say that again, Dr. Mark.
Thank
you. Hey. Who want to say this? I'm so glad you went right to a question I wanted. I'm going to let y'all go, but hey, because we all have a pass, don't be asking people about theirs. I don't know why people ask questions, men and women. You ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Well, Doc, we ask for resumes when you apply for a job. I'm just saying.
How about I just read what Dr. Jackson said, don't get them no resume. You just get them your experience. Don't tell them what your qualifications are. You just tell them what you have done. How about that?
Yeah, I want to know. I got to know who I'm dealing with.
What I have done is I have made a wonderful home. I have made 2 beautiful children. I have made many of people happy in this life. So you don't need what's numbers? What's in that?
Who cares about the word many? What does many mean?
Said, Dr. Mark, you always ask that question. No matter what number she say, it's gonna be too high. You don't
Oh
have to be
no!
with.
Oh no! At this
Hey,
age,
golly, I guess your mama just raised you like that. The number
Nah.
ain't never gonna be satisfactory.
no, we can't. No, at this age, we can't ask those type of questions. Now that ain't what I'm at. That's what I'm just talking about.
Okay.
You know, your parents. I ain't asking how many partners you've been with.
Okay.
Nah, we ain't talking body count. We ain't talking body count.
That's
Okay,
because
good.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what kind of questions you want?
what? Why did you break up with your last relationship? Why that didn't work?
Yeah.
That's a
What-
fair question.
How does are your parents still together?
Why does that matter? I've never understood that question.
Because it matters. Because I need to know: do you have a propensity to run? Do you have a propensity to leave? Like, what is
Well,
your?
my mom
what
and
is
dad
your-
ain't never been together. My mom and dad ain't never been together. My mom got with my stepdad when I was 2 and my sister was a baby. So my mom and dad was never married. My mother was never married. She was been with my stepfather for 40 something years.
Yeah,
But there was
so
no
that means
marriage.
that. So
That matters.
I'm trying to see. Do you come from commitment? That's what I'm just trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah,
Who I'm
that
dealing
come
with.
from commitment that ain't got a bit of commitment.
That's true, but
You
I'm
can't
still
do
trying
that
to.
with my parents' relationship.
So Doc, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a logical decision based off of data. So
that
when
one
we
ain't gonna
date-
give you the data that you want, because that's
But
two. Those
may-
are people who have nothing to do with all that. All you've done with that is because you've learned either what to do or what not to do. So
Right.
there are people who have
But there's
stated
an explanation though.
have been okay. So here it is. Your parents still together. Your parents still together. They've been together 40 years, but they sleep in separate bedrooms. They don't even talk to each other.
But that's
It
still.
doesn't matter. They still together.
But Doc, when we dating, it's called dating because we collecting data. I'm trying to make a decision on who I have in front of me. Do I want to continue with this? Do I want to involve and engage in this relationship? So I
You
got
need
to
to
know
know
who
me.
I have.
Not only that, but what you just said, as far as okay, it's the beginning of a conversation. Okay, if your parents are together, then okay, how is that relationship?
Yeah,
I agree. Not just are they together, but how's the relationship? How is your relationship with your parents, especially
Right.
gentlemen? What's your
Right.
relationship with your mom?
yeah, right. Like, what's your relationship with your daddy?
Yes, yes.
you-
That
is
is
your
all
daddy-
important.
Let me tell you, my father was not present in my life, but I love my daddy. I honor him. He'll tell you I'm the best daughter he ever had. And I tell people that. And my dad did not do anything for me. And my mother wasn't the best mother, but I honor and love her like I tell everybody, because what is it not for Leroy and Cheryl, there would be no Dr. Melissa Nolan Chester. But how do those things, though, again, those things like Teresa, you need to know me, like the fact that my daddy wasn't there, that hasn't like that I honor him even though he wasn't there.
Okay, well, you have a better side, a better view of it. There are people who are angry, and a lot of times, a man, if he's angry with his mom or has issues with his mom, he is
He
no
gonna
good
take
to
it out
any
on her.
woman.
Exactly.
Right.
That's true.
And vice versa.
But you have to know he's angry. Well, I guess you said when he said if he's angry with his mother. What about, I think it was someone on here that said, you know, when parents are toxic and you just choose not to be with them, that don't mean that you angry with them. You just realize that you have to love them from afar.
I know
Right.
you're saying
But
that
that's
you
what
can
that
date
is.
someone, but
So
you
Doc-
need to see their view, their point of view with their parents. If I would say I would not date a man who has mommy issues or daddy issues, because I've dated people in the past with mommy and daddy issues, and they become your issue.
So Dr. Melissa, I say my first master's is in therapy. So, you know, I ask a lot of questions. I like to figure out who I have in front of me. I like to know everything about you, and I ask a lot of questions. And I don't forget anything you tell me. I might forget names.
I hope you asking the right questions, because it's one thing to
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions. It's another thing to ask the right questions.
I'm asking all of
Sometimes
them.
if you ask those questions from a Eurocentric lens, sometimes those questions can be a little biased. And again, because if you look at my background, I mean, you're like, well, damn, but I know I'm a catch. And any they got me, know he winning. And
Again,
like I said, you talking about molestation, you talking about domestic violence, you talking about parents were never married. And I mean that none of that makes me no less of a great mate.
Right, but what I'm saying
It don't, but it tells you that you have somebody in front of you that you have to deal with those issues, especially if they haven't
Well, I've
resolved.
dealt with them. You don't have to deal with them because I've dealt with them.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you have not resolved them, right? Because there's women who have been molested that get hesitant when it comes to sex because they feel like sex is a bad thing because it brings them back to their trauma. because that's something you need to know as a man, especially before you get married. Because if I'm engaging in sex, I might look at it as you rejected me. You might looking at it as this is traumatic, and now we have a conflict in this relationship, and we don't even know why we had this conflict. So it's important to know who you
The
have
right
in front of
question,
you.
like you said, the right question. Okay, you were
Yeah.
molested. How did you deal with your molestation?
And that's a
How
tough,
did that
that's a tough
affect you?
conversation.
That-
That's a
yeah,
tough conversation.
So, okay, yeah. And I would tell you that in college, I'll tell you how I dealt with it. There was a group of us who got together. We created a group, and all of us had been molested. And we talked about it. We talked about the fact that some of us were promiscuous. Some of us decided to date women. You know, some of us, like you said, we were averse to sex. Like we didn't really like it. We talked about it we had a sister circle, and we worked through that thing together with each other to deal with those. You know,
And it's important not to.
I see both of y'all point, and I agree with Dr. Is it Abraham? Dr. Abraham, because the reason my fiance is so patient with me because I shared a lot with him. You understand what I'm saying? And you have some people who wouldn't share. So when they want to appear to have everything together. So therefore, if he didn't know that, just imagine what I told you earlier. So just imagine I done broke up with this man about 30 million times.
Right? Veronica did not judge you on that. The next man, you decided, like you said, he decided to say, oh, she has this, and because of that, I'm going to be patient. The other one could have said, you know what, she has all this, that's too much baggage for me, and I'm not going to deal with it. You just happen to get the king who decided that he was willing to deal with your baggage and be patient with it. So understand that the other one could have been like, oh, these signs, she told me all this. So it could go both ways, but it's just like some questions to me are skewed questions.
But I think you got to trust though, Dr. Melissa, you got to trust though. Once you open it up, that's a level of trust. We're opening up so that we're building connectivity. I say, ladies and gentlemen, there's a question you better ask everybody. What's your credit score look like? I mean, I don't care what you say, because we got to figure out, are we buying a house together? What debt am I accruing in this relationship? Who do you owe? How much child support you pay?
I agree. Those are
real questions, though. You got to ask questions.
Those are perfect questions. And like she said, it's like a lesson plan. You use gradual release, because some people will use your trauma against you.
Right.
It's a matter of timing.
Right. Yeah, it got to be the right time. It ain't. This ain't first date conversations. This ain't like the first time I meet you. Were you molested? Heck no, that's crazy. This is over time we asking questions. These are like, it's opening up this flower so we can figure out who I have, and so that I won't injure you like you may have been injured in the past. I got to know how to treat you like the queen.
Just be prepared for the same types of questions, like any ones you ask me, because you already told me I don't believe in being with one woman, and
I ain't say that.
You said
you put words in my mouth. I did not say that. I did not. Don't put words in my mouth now. Let's rewind the tape. I ain't say that. I did not say that.
You said Haitian men don't believe in having one.
I said,
he did, doctor.
No, I did.
Now, here's what I heard. Abraham, this is what I heard. What I heard was, coming from where I'm from, I never saw men being with only one woman until I came to New York.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
That's what he said.
That was what he said. Now, what he didn't say was,
that's what he said, Simone. That was just, you right.
That's what I said. See, you see how you try to take my transparency and hurt me with, Doc. You try to do what you said. Yes, you did. You try to hurt me. You try to put me under the bus right now.
Yeah,
I said I can't be with no woman. Ladies, look at Dr. Abraham. I ain't never said black men don't cheat. Remember that, okay? I ain't never say that.
Okay, well, let me get.
It's
about to do all that. But I'll just say this before I go. Regardless of the questions that you ask and regardless of the answers, the lady you may be speaking to, their parents may still be together, whatever the case is. It's how does she view it? How does she view that situation? She can come from trauma. If she has the kind of perspective that Dr. Melissa has, hey, that's the perspective I'm looking for. That's the perspective I'm looking for, regardless of what kind of situation. So I think ultimately with these questions, you're looking for that perspective. above all else. Her background is cool, but what is your perspective on your background?
Right.
Okay, I appreciate that. Not just the background,
In addition to that,
but the
Yeah, how
perspective.
you view it though? Could we listen? I would say this: listen to everybody's story. The fact that we are gainfully employed, that we educated, coming from all the trauma. This is only by the grace of God. And I put that in the comments that you guys are so brilliant and so strong and so awesome. And I'm just impressed. So it's not about like what we've been through. It's what's your paradigm as you go through this, and what's your resilience look like as you get to the other side of it. So I'm not judging you and saying, oh, you bad because of this. I want to understand where your head at.
There you go. All right. Well,
in addition to that, it's important to also understand people's triggers.
Right.
Because sometimes there are things that cause an emotional response that is not necessarily predicated upon the present situation, but it stemmed from past experiences. So asking those questions and being able to get to know that individual is extremely important, so that, like, for instance, I know one of my friends does not like to be called a liar. And that just comes from, it's really weird, but it doesn't like to be accused of lying. It just causes an emotional response that's just like hellacious. It's like, whoa, like that, wait, it was a joke, like chill, like it's not even that serious. But knowing those things about a person helps you to navigate through the relationship, because some people just are not able to bounce back, and some people are not as resilient. So it's important to know a person's past, not necessarily know all the details, but know what could possibly rehash some of that trauma. Mm-hmm. So the questions, I mean, it can be antagonizing, and it can be a little aggravating depending on the presentation, but it's still important to be able to have those conversations to gain that insight.
Right. It's for the perspective, not just the question, but what do you get?
Right.
What do you get it from it? Okay. We brought it back in, Dr. Mark. I thought you was trying to be all judgmental over there. We don't.
Oh, that's part of my whole thing, to be non-judgmental. We took an oath as therapists not to be non-judgmental. I don't judge nobody. I don't want nobody judging me. I got a lot of stuff. I said that I got a lot of stuff with me. So
we all. That's what makes us great.
I got to go, family. I got an early morning.
We all are. We were just about to do our wrap up.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Doc. My bad.
So we're a few minutes over. It was supposed to be 11, but it was getting good. And so we're going to do our wrap up and let everybody have their final words. Of course, we always start with the ladies. So Jamise, we'll start with you. You're the newest guest. So go ahead and let us have your last words. What you'd like to say, anything? Hold on. You're on mute. Hold on.
Okay. It's been great participating in this forum. I've enjoyed everything that I've heard so far. I agree with a lot of things that was said, except for back to what you said about Dr. Abram. I think he said something about Haitians like to have more than one mate, and that he was Haitian. So I kind of got the same feedback that you got out of his.
That's what you're saying in your wrap up? That's what your wrap up was about me?
Just want to throw that in there.
Thank you, Jamise. Nakia.
Once again, thank you, Dr. Chester, for having me. I've enjoyed myself again. I love to hear both sides, from the men perspective as well as the different women perspective. Congratulations to the engaged couples and the Jamise and her husband, and 8 years of marriage. Nothing, just open-minded to dating, and open-minded, not to dating now, but when I am ready to date, things to think about. I do think the questioning part is very important going into the relationship. But as Tracy said, within time, you actually get to see, because people have that representative. That's another thing with dating. People come with that representative, and as time goes on, that representative either proves itself to be true or it dies off, and then you get to see the real person. So I've enjoyed myself. Thank you. everyone for being so open and honest.
Thank you, Nakia. Simone.
Dr. Mark. No, I'm just messing. I got your back. I heard what you said. He was like, now what? You said, I heard what you said. You know, as always, especially working from home, I enjoy this couple hours of adult interaction and conversation. And I think, you know, the biggest and best thing is that there's a lot of no one minds being transparent. And so I think, you know, through that you are able to help people and get them started on a path that they maybe had not known that they needed to venture down, or there may be things that they never thought applied to them until they hear someone else. Because I think, you know, as we talk about depression earlier, the biggest part of depression is people not understanding and knowing when they're in it, and then also feeling like they're isolated in it. And so I think the more that we have just open dialogues in general, it's going to give and inspire other people to go back in their homes and in their own communities and have a more open dialogue. And so I always enjoy talking and learning and sharing with you guys. It's always an interesting mix, and you just never know what you're going to get. So as always, thank you for having me again.
Thank you, Simone. Life purpose coach V Rose.
Yes, I enjoy each and every one of you all. This is my first time hearing Dr. Mark, and he was absolutely great. I learned a lot from him. Martez was you know, you always come with it. Everybody was just so great and really just poured into me tonight. But I would like to wrap up by saying self-love is important. You know, I'm a Christian, and so God is love, and greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. And
Amen.
So because he is love, you have to love you. And in order for you to love anyone properly and appropriately, you have to know that you have to love yourself first. So I just say, you know, tap in self, because self-love does matters. And then, you know, once you tap into yourself, everything else will follow. You know, you don't have to go out there looking for anyone. It will come together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Martez, and then Dr. Mark.
I agree totally with Veronica once again. I want to say thank you again, Doc, for the invite. And this has definitely been an awesome panel. I've had a lot of fun tonight. I've learned so much from each and every one of you. And I want to encourage everyone who's watching to not allow fear of the unknown or knowledge from past experiences to stop you from getting everything God has for you. Yes. Sometimes we will allow what we see or things that we don't see and we don't understand stop us from achieving our dreams, from accomplishing our goals. Everything that you need is already inside of you. So go get your stuff.
All right. That's our song, y'all.
Let's get it.
You got to get a song. Yes. You got to hear it, Dr. Mark. I'll make sure to send it to you. It's awesome.
All right. Thank you. So listen, folks, I just want to say to all my Black, brown, and white brothers and sisters that are watching this today, I truly believe that we overcome by the words of our testimony, and we help other people overcome. All of these people on this panel right now have a story, and they have some pain, and they have overcame some things. And oftentimes we go through things not for us, but to help somebody else. So you may have gone through trauma. You may have gone through pain. Don't be afraid to share it. You know, people say, well, I don't want to share it because they're going to use this against me. No, you sharing it sheds the light on it, right? It sheds the light so that other people can be healed by your pain and by your struggle, and after you overcome it. So I was just so impressed by hearing everybody's testimony and seeing where they have come from. Marcel, Sock by Say, man, I see you, man. To my Haitian brother over there, what's good with you, boy? Again, this is Dr. Mark Abraham. Please follow me on Instagram, Dr.Mark_ABRAHAM. Look out for the new book that's coming out. It's going to be a game changer for educators. What success looks like, how to increase graduation rates for young men of color. Doctor, I appreciate you. Kings and queens, I appreciate you allowing me to share this space with you, and thank you. And I pray everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Dr. Mark. And as always, guys, you know, it's nothing like the people that surround you that you can call on to support you, be your friends. And, you know, you guys, your stories, like you said, they were so powerful. As Carlos Zeller said earlier, you know, all of us have overcome so much. I mean, and it's amazing, just our different stories and the commonalities, the similarities. And so I'm proud to know each and every one of you. And like I said, I'm here to support it any way I can. And as always, thank you guys for making the show so informative and engaging and enlightening. You guys rock. You guys rock. And we will see you guys next Wednesday. We'll have, so it's Black Educators Rock. We'll have our Black History Month like finale, and so it's going to be my Men of Education next week. And so you know, look out for Principal Kafele and Dr. Marcus Jackson and Martez and some of the Dr. Mark Abrams, some of those that are in education. Principal Michael McGrone, who we had last time. And so we're talking to our unsung heroes, because if you guys don't know, Black males make up less than 2% of our teaching population. They're the least represented, but the most needed. And so we want to hear from some of our unsung heroes as we take the month of Black History Month out. So that's going to be how we round the show out next week. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your Winning Wednesday. We'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.